Okay, now the last riff where we did what we called straight eighth notes, which are counted like 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and we call that straight eighth notes. It's a duple rhythm in twos and even numbers and just straight, count like that. And now we're going to get into a more of a blues rhythm for our purposes. Could be like Irish jig rhythms, but it's a triplet rhythm. Now, if you look at the like the time signature in the triplet warm up, you'll see 12/8, and you might wonder what does that mean. Technically, it means 12 beats in the measure, and an eighth note is a beat. But actually, this is considered a compound rhythm. And what that means is that the eighth notes are grouped in threes, and we call those triplets. And in when you think about it, how many times does 3 go into 12? It's 4 times. So we're thinking of 4 beats, the main beats 1, 2, 3, 4, but counting them 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3, 3, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3. So we're thinking of it kind of like 4/4, except each beat is now subdivided into 3 counts. And you would, like if you play through the triplet warm up, which I would suggest to do while counting out loud. 1, 2, 3. And when you play, now you may not have enough control of your pick at this point to accent notes, but you want to think sort of 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, like an accent on the first of each triplet. Think when you're playing open strings, oh, 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 oh. Okay? So now, this triplet warm up is going to sound kind of boring because we're just hitting open strings. We're not really playing anything that's got any character, really. But we're learning the basic count. You want to make sure that you know how to physically count these counts, that you're not stumbling over it. It's a little bit of a tongue twister. When you think of 2, 2, 3, 3, 2, 3, that can be a little confusing. But you have to get past that. You have to practice it enough to where you're thinking the 4 main beats and you understand that we're counting a little 2, 3 after each of the 4 main beats. So it's 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3, 3, 2, 3, 4. Play along. 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3, 3, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3, 3, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3, 3, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3, 3, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3. And then I'm going to end it. 2, 3, 2, 2, 3, 3, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3. Now in the ending, the last measure, I didn't do the repeat because it's like say it's kind of boring, right? I mean, probably most people watching this video will have turned it off even by now. But I'm gonna say that you diehards that really want to learn guitar are going to stick with me, okay? So now the last measure, you've got 2 triplets, 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3, and then a quarter note. Now a quarter note in this rhythm is only 2. It rings for 2/3 of the beat, and you're counting 3, 2, and then hitting a single eighth note on the 3 count. So it's like 3, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3. And that 4, 2, 3 rings for all 3 counts because it's a dotted quarter note. A dotted quarter note, normally a regular quarter note without a dot, equals 2/8 notes. A dotted quarter note equals 3/8 notes. And in this compound rhythm, we have 3/8 notes per beat. So if you see a dotted quarter, it's ringing for the whole beat. You know, when you're thinking of the long beat, like 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3, 3, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3. That would be 4 dotted quarter notes. And you've got a dotted quarter note here on the very last note, which ends it. So it's, you know, it's not a big deal, you know, to count it, but that's what it is. It rings for the whole fourth beat. So that last measure with open strings is 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3, 3, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3. Now in the riff, you might look at the last measure and notice that there are 2 chords at the very end. And they're just a pair of strings. You're hitting an open 5th string and fingering the 2nd fret of the 4th string, but you're hitting them together. That's always good for your first finger to kind of lean on the 3rd string to muffle it and make sure that you don't hear a bunch of open strings, because you might accidentally hit that 3rd string. But so let your first finger kind of lay on its side, and it's pressing the 4th string, but just touching, you know, it's pressing this string, but just touching that. Now let's go back up to the last measure of the triplet warm-up, where you're going 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3, then hit 3, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3. Make the chord and hold it through the whole measure, but hit a chord on the last 2 strikes, where you have an 8th note to a dotted quarter. So it's 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3, 3, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3. I think I missed the first chord, and you might miss it too. I don't know, but again, 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3, 3, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3. And now on the last measure, I'm just going over, this is, I think, the most difficult measure of the riff, is O, 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 3, O, 2, O, chord, chord, like that. Counted, 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3, 3, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3. Okay, so that the count is very important to understand that, and don't let that chord at the end shock you. When you read tablature, you're reading exactly what you see. So if you see 2 notes stacked on top of each other, that's a chord. You might see 4 or 5 notes stacked on top of each other. That would be a 5-string chord. And here you only see 2 on top of each other, so it's just a pair of strings. So don't feel like, oh, I got to hit all 6 strings. You know, you're not. You're just hitting what you see, which is the 5th string open and the 4th string at the 2nd fret, but you're hitting them simultaneously as a chord. That's called a root 5th chord, which we don't have to get into the theory of that, but it's a 5th interval. That's it's neither major or minor, and a lot of heavy metal players use them. They call them power chords, or punk rock players use them a lot, you know. But now I'm going to play the riff, blues riff number 1. And I should mention this triplet rhythm is going to be more in the blues things that we do in this book, whereas the straight 8th note rhythm, the 1 and 2 and, would be more of a basic rock or rock and roll rhythm. But that's not always true. You can have blues in a straight rhythm, and you can have rock in a kind of a swing or a boogie or a triplet kind of count. A lot of times triplets really do go fast in blues, but we'll get into that later. That becomes almost like, I changed the term. Instead of saying triplet rhythm, it's more like a swing rhythm, like jazz. But Anyway, we're counting 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3, 3, 2, 3, 4. Play it with me. Oh, 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 2, 3. Oh, 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 2, 3. Now I'm going to do the repeat. For the ending. Oh, 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 3, oh, 2, oh. Again, the ending, if you count it, 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3, 3, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3. And that quarter note that's on the third beat, right before the first chord, which is the 8th note at the end of the third beat, that gives you time to finger the chord to play it, because it's ringing for 2 counts. So you can take advantage of that extra time there. Now notice the notation. If you've got my book or have the sheet, in the first line there's 2 measures, and they're kind of spread apart really nicely. And then in the second line, I've got 3 measures, so they're a little more crunched together. Don't get the idea that because the notes are closer together that you play them faster. I've had students do that, and I know what they're thinking because the notes are closer together. You go by the note value, whether it's 8th notes or quarter notes. You don't go by at all by what the distance is between the notes. A really good copyist will have a nice balanced looking distance between notes, but that's not always going to be true any more than like somebody who handwrites a letter. If they write "the boy went home" and they write a lot of space between their words, or they crunch it all up, "the boy went home," that doesn't mean that you say it faster when they're crunched up, right? I mean, any more than you would play faster notes that are crunched together. So that has nothing to do, the way the music copy looks on the page has nothing to do with the tempo. Whatever you start the tempo, that's what you want to stay with. So I just wanted to mention that because I've seen some students fall into that trap, and it's understandable, to think that, especially, you're beginning to read and count rhythms. There's a lot of questions. There's a lot of misunderstandings that can happen. So anyway, have fun with this. This is a nice little beginning blues riff, and have fun with it. And I'll see you in the next lesson. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel here. Give me a thumbs up if you got something out of this and enjoyed it. It should be pretty easy to play, getting into 8th notes. And like my Facebook page, John Hedger Guitar Studio. Thank you.